Thank you, Olaf. Okay, sorry for the delay, now we can start. I have a feeling every talk before me has leaded to my topic. Sorry. And I want to start with a short demo. I will come back. I have here a small Android device. And the main part of my presentation will be we have made a prototype of an accessible mobile PDF reader. It's a prototype. And I want to show it here. This will be the end of my presentation. And it's a kind of a world premiere. There is no tool in the world that is able, for example, to show reflow on mobile based on PDF text. And you will be the first ones, the chosen ones, as we heard that in the keynote, you are the chosen ones, who will see the first reflow based on text PDF on a mobile. Okay. And now I want to start. Okay, I'm searching for a piece of information. I screen my mobile. It's really high tech here. So there is my here, and it's here. Okay. Yeah? Great. Hey. And I open the PDF and I use the default PDF viewer on Android. That's a Google PDF viewer. And okay, you see, it's too small. We cannot see anything, so I zoom in. And I want to read something, so okay, I change the direction of my screen, and now, okay, it's a little bit better, but if I want to see the whole row, it's really too small. And if I zoom in, I have to scroll horizontally every line to read this. So I'm not disabled yet, a little bit with my glasses, okay. So the first issue is accessibility. It's not only for people with disabilities in the context of mobile devices. In my opinion, the whole usage, document usage on mobile is very, very ugly, uncomfortable. So every mobile user is kind of disabled when he wants to read a document. Okay. So I will come back to my Android device. Let's go some steps back. Mobile accessibility, what does that mean? Mobile accessibility generally refers to making websites and applications more accessible to people with disabilities. That's the definition from the W3C. Accessible to people with disabilities. And in which context? When they are using mobile phones, and it includes people using a broad range of devices to interact with the web. Phones, tablets, TVs, and more. And here we see it doesn't refer only to people with disabilities. It includes people using a broad range of devices, small screen devices, let's say so. In the web, there is a method called responsive web. You really, I guess you really know it. and I have a special definition of that term. For me, responsive web is accessibility of information for users of small screen devices. So I don't have the word disabilities here in, because for me, accessibility of information for users of small screen devices is independent of my physical limitations. And I said all the talks before my talk, prepared my talk. For example, Olaf said, hey, it doesn't, the text PDF, the main mission of text PDF is access to content. And accessibility for people with disabilities is only one of 5 submissions. So if you take this with you home and you spread the word, accessibility in this perspective means real accessibility of information for all users of small screen devices. So the market emerges tremendously. But, okay, I have found a nice article how PDFs could sabotage your responsive website. It is written in January this year. And this smart guy, I don't know, he's not in the audience, I haven't met him today, and he says, okay, there's a place for PDFs, but not on an accessible website, and the main sentence, I zoom in and highlighted it here, PDFs aren't really designed for mobile. But that's not true. The truth is, if PDFs are designed for accessibility, the mobile support is built in. And we have seen that logical structure Matthew showed you, and all that stuff. If PDFs are designed for accessibility, the mobile support is built in. And so my first key message, mobile accessibility is for all users, only to remember that. Let's go one step back. Document accessibility, what does that mean? That means, or the key benefits of document accessibility are text adaptability and customization. We heard about reflow, text-based reflow. Zoom with no horizontal scroll bar, contrast mode, it's kind of this, inverse colors, font color, background color. Text customization, I will show you some examples. The second key benefit is accessibility by assistive technologies, screen reader support, highlighting during the reading, and so on. And we have a third one, content extraction. We heard it also from my speakers before, machine-readable content, reuse content. That means document accessibility, the key benefits. It summarizes what we have heard this morning and this afternoon so far. And I simplify it a little bit. I'm not a technician and I'm not a developer. So for me, a PDF has 2 layers. A presentation layer, everybody can see. So I have prepared a document. It's like in a TV cooking course. I have prepared something for you. I have simplified it, so it's a typical flyer, and the first page is on the right, not on the left. So it's a very good example to show you or to prove, is it real reflow? And does the reader support the logical structure or the content stream? So I have prepared this flyer, and you see here the presentation layer. And invisible behind that presentation layer, where is the structure layer? So only for remembering this, here a short view of the structure layer, and what you can see at the first gaze, the structure is always linear. There's a clear order. And the first figure is highlighted, so let's see, this is the first figure. This is the logo. So it really starts on page 1, the first element, and then you have a clear order. So we have a presentation layer, we have the invisible structure layer. And honestly speaking, that is enough to understand what makes a PDF accessible. It's this invisible structure layer. And it's independent from the presentation layer, but in best cases it's the same order, but for example here for a flyer it has different orders. So I want to show short examples, this document on desktops, and then I jump to the mobile devices. And I have chosen 2 free tools. Jens has already mentioned it, and I show it to you. The first example, it's an Acrobat plugin, PDF Go HTML. I have opened here my prepared flyer, and I go to the structure view. And PDF Go HTML doesn't offer only a structure view. Here we have a structure view, and we see the logo is on the first, then we have the first page, and it's very easy to see if it's the right order or not, because these are all pictures with the numbers in, and they should relate to the heading, so text block 4 should have the image 4 and so on, and you see, okay, it's a proper tagged PDF, logical order is okay. And PDF Go HTML offers some additional views, not only the structure view, and I show you the inverted view.
Geht das nicht direkt im HTML? Im Browser?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the inverted view, and if I make my screen small, like a mobile screen, you see there is reflow, so that is real reflow based on text. And in a similar way, our mobile reader should be a kind of PDF Go HTML for mobiles. Kind of. Yeah, you can compare this. And I close it, and I go to the second example, the VIP PDF reader. There I can show you some more customization things. It's the same document, I have opened it. It was developed with people with low vision, together with them. They said, for example, oh, we do not want to see the picture in the first gaze, only the alt text, and if you click on an icon, then I get the picture. That's enough for us. And so this is a very special view, a PDF reader for people with low vision. And you can customize the view. You can even customize the line, line distance, or the distance between words, or the distance between characters, for examples. So you can customize every attribute you can imagine. And a mobile PDF reader should also offer these options. So I showed you these two examples to say what is possible with a PDF document, what is document accessibility, PDF document accessibility, and now I jump back to my PowerPoint presentation.
Oops.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. To begin, the start. Not to write. Okay. Okay. So next step is. Oh, you see nothing. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Duplicate screen. Function F7.
Yeah, I have started it once again, so... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we jump back to the mobiles, and I have 3 typical mobile readers. I have selected 3 typical mobile readers. I have the Adobe Reader Mobile, I have the Foxit Reader, and the Ease Reader, and they are the most common readers on mobile devices, especially on Android. And let's see if they do a good job, or what are the limitations. So I go to my mirror. Yeah. Here. Okay. I start with the Adobe Reader. And I go to my documents and open the prepared example. What's this one? Okay. And you see, this is my flyer, my prepared flyer, and the Adobe Reader offers a reflow mode. I have activated it now. Here you see Text und Fließen, reflow text, but nothing really happens. So sorry, it's not usable here for this document with reflow mode. And it's a special reflow mode based on the content stream, not on the PDF text. So in the case it could show us something, kind of reflow view. In most cases it is in the wrong order because it is not based on PDF text. So let's try the Foxit Reader. I open the prepared file, and you see the Foxit Reader does, for not supporting PDF text, a relatively good job. But you see, the main title is correct, then it comes 1, but the Foxit Reader doesn't show the images. Here. Only shows the text, and you see it is page-based, so it is not tag-based, it has still the page order, and you see 136, it has the wrong order because it is based on heuristics, not on tags. And the last example I have here with EZ reader. There's also a reflow mode. There are two separated reflow modes, and we see here in the reflow mode it has the totally wrong order, not based on tags. And so my summary is, if you compare all the available PDF readers on mobiles, there is no support of a structural layer, there is no structural navigation, only limited text-to-speech features, and totally unreliable user experience. Because the reflow and the rendering is not based on PDF text. So I jumped to the accessible mobile PDF reader. I have here summed up what should an accessible mobile PDF reader be able to do. Support of tag PDF, rendering based on structure layer, real reflow, I call it real reflow. We had this question before, which reflow do you mean? Real reflow based on the structure layer, screen reader support, contrast mode, text customization. I can show you the first two ones. The next three ones are coming. But on Android, TalkBack is really, maybe René can confirm this, TalkBack is not really usable for blind people. Have you experienced with TalkBack?
Not so much.
Yeah.
If you are really willing to experiment a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, if you have too much time on your hands, then you're able and willing. And
so we will support the built-in screen reader TalkBack, even if it's not so good. The best one of this is iOS, but it is not optimal. But we will support the built-in screen reader on the devices. So I go to my example file and XS4 reader is it called, and I open my file. And you see the logo is on the first, then the first image, text block 2, image 2, and so on. It's the correct order. Here on my device, it's no trick, no magic.
Could you zoom in?
It's only the prototype of our mobile accessible PDF reader, and we can zoom in. We can maybe I have here. Yeah, you see it. It's it looks great. I have some more examples because you can say, oh, this is a very easy example. I have prepared it for you to show the order issue, so that you will have this in mind. And what is really difficult for developers to implement a real image rendering, a proper image rendering. It's easy for photos, it's easy. But for images made out of several elements, it's very difficult. So this is possible with this reader. And I show you another example. And it's a flyer from a cemetery, so nothing symbolic. It has nice pictures. So I have here real text, and I can zoom in and you see real reflow, really proper, and we even support tables. And in the moment, the first step was to have a horizontal scroll here for the tables, because tables are really difficult. Yeah, we want to fix the header column, so when you scroll, you just have the header columns with you, so you can recognize which header belongs to which data cell. And we support links. I guess there are some links at the end. Yeah, if I click a link, then I can open it. The links are highlighted and so on. Okay. I have prepared a third example with tables, and I show you first the document in Acrobat, because it has something very special. I like it very much, because it has something special here, this table. What do you think? Oh, I have to make it a little bit smaller so that you can see. Okay, because this is not a 6-column table, it's a 2-column table, but in 3 columns, in 3 word columns. So there is the age and how much you have to pay. Then the age continues and how much you have to pay. And every reader based on marked content will show you nothing or a 6-column table. And if I go to the Access 4 reader, we go to that table and we see it's 1 2-column table with no break in it. It really continues. It really continues over a page break. And yeah, only for demonstrating that this is really a proper rendering of an accessible PDF. Okay, so I come to the last issue. How does the future look like? And we dream of real responsive PDF. That means keep the look and feel of the presentation layer and have the real reflow and customization based on the structure layer. That is possible, and Olaf asked what do we want from PDF UA2? Nearly everything for responsive PDF is already available in PDF2. We only need one thing additional, a reference mechanism between CSS and PDF objects, and when this will come true, we will be happy to implement this in our accessible PDF reader. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Markus. For the questions, that was a pretty exciting demonstration. In the back.
Okay, this guy in the first row here.
This guy again.
Just a very short question this time. Will it be available for iOS devices?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is planned. The most common, the most used devices in the context of people with disabilities, iOS with nearly 70%, and then Android, nearly 20%, and all the others. So we will make it available for iOS, for Android, and we are still fighting. I say for Windows it's not necessary, but in the moment it is planned also for Windows. Yeah.
Okay.
That's possible from Germany. 2 questions. The first question is, what about white text that is put on a colored background? Maybe in the colored background is an artifact. That's the first question. And the second question is, what do you do about pictures, for example, that are in an A3 PDF file on a whole size? So like a graph, for example, or a diagram, you have only the option to put it on 100%, but then it's not really accessible.
Yeah, okay. This problem is not solved yet with the big diagrams. Maybe the reader doesn't know yet, is it a diagram or I have to show the big size, or can I adapt it to the screen size? So maybe we have in mind to offer a bigger, it will be adapted to the screen size, but you can zoom in or you can open a window with the real size of the picture. Similar to the VIP PDF reader, we also developed the VIP PDF reader. So there are some, it was a kind of, playing around with what is possible, and maybe we pick some of solutions out from that VIP PDF reader, but I have this in mind. The first question, it's no problem with a PDF reader based on text. White fonts on a dark background are not a problem, because you take the text and you are totally free in your presentation. So nothing disappears. I have some examples here. Maybe you can have a look at it. You only have this issue when you render based on heuristics and marked content or content streams. So this issue doesn't exist anymore. And you had a third question?
Yeah, regarding to the first.
Okay.
Regarding to white text, because the sample you showed, it was quite the same as in the PDF, so some green tones and green text were green in your presentation.
Yeah.
So you have a possibility to say, okay, let's take the color from the PDF and put it on the screen,
yeah.
Or you take a customized CSS file, for example.
Yeah.
But then you don't have the same layout or something like that.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, no, it's not the same layout. It would be the next step with real responsive PDF. Then here it is a kind of, it's not a kind, it's a conversion to HTML. And then it is rendered as HTML. But responsive PDF, you do not need the HTML, you need the CSS, but you work with the PDF, and so you are much closer in the look and feel. Yeah. Okay, here, question? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One, how do you render not accessible PDFs then?
Okay, in the moment, we can't render not accessible PDFs, but the final version will have a normal PDF viewer. You cannot reflow. We are just discussing, should we offer a reflow based on heuristics like the others? I say no. It's not decided yet, but it probably will not have a heuristics-based reflow. So if you have, you can see a not tagged and not accessible PDF, but in a normal view. The presentation layer of the not accessible PDF. Yeah.
The other question is perhaps more to the PDF UA people, because responsive web, the author or the owner of the site have a choice of how to present things when it gets on a mobile phone, for instance. But in your case, it's all depending on the player. On the player, the tool.
Yeah, that's a big difference between the two concepts. It's a kind of, it's not It's not HTML, so it's a new version of responsiveness. Yeah.
But would it be possible to in PDF, I'm not that much of an expert in PDF, to have a choice in the rendering on mobile phones and stuff.
So you're wondering, is there a choice what can render the page as it was originally designed?
Could there be a one? I have no clue how to do it, but could there be in the future perhaps? So could there perhaps be in the future ways of presenting mechanisms so that the author could choose the rendering on mobile devices? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious now that the PC is on the way out. Perhaps the tablet is on the way out. Mobiles are here.
I think inherent. Is this on? Yes. I think inherent to PDF, one always has the original page rendering, right? So that's always, as it were, a default option in terms of the rendering. And then, of course, there's a reflow model or a responsive model. And within the responsive model, a range of options. For example, text size, or as Markus showed you, you turn it, you get a slightly wider screen, but it's not as tall. There are all kinds of ways in which software could adapt to the particulars that you're getting there. You certainly have as many options as you would in HTML, and frankly more. And this is one thing that really struck me, frankly, when you demonstrated the table, which is 3 columns. It's actually a 2-column table with 3. I was thinking to myself, how would in HTML you make that responsive? And I don't think there's any way to do it. So we have a more responsive PDF in this case than we could in HTML. Actually, point.
Yeah.
No. How would you do that in HTML?
I'm not sure how to do it right now, but
you'd have to code a table 2 different ways.
You use columns and just with one table, 2-column table.
I think it's possible with CSS. For a real CSS expert, this will be possible to do so. Yeah.
That's why I'm not HTML.
Okay, great. One more question? Okay.
Well, actually, it was just a comment because I think the beauty of this is that it resembles in a way how EPUB are sort of how you can adjust an EPUB, and I think there are so many screen sizes that just having like on a responsive website you have 3 different types. It's not optimal. So I think the sort of the organic way of reflowing is by far the most interesting. It was beautiful. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. I have a last word if there is no more question. What is your part? Your part is bring your content to the next level. Your PDF has to be accessible, a PDF UA file, then this is possible. So it's nothing magic. Okay, take your part. Thank you.